Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? If you guys weren't with me yesterday, I am using the gorgeous Seeker Oracle. It is one of my new absolute faves. The artwork, the here and now, how cute is that? I feel like everything is so vivid and wonderful. That heat, the vibes with the, oh my gosh, with the scorpion there, I was like, oh, I get the chills from this artwork. And I had another deck to hers prior, and I knew with the imagery, I'm like, oh, I know this person. This is Ravine Phelan's work. And I was like, yes. So let's talk about cause and effect. You know, this in the book, it was really interesting because it was talking about how our actions will yield a reward and a consequence to a greater or lesser degree depending on the choices we make and how we act upon them. So consider if something random occurs for no apparent reason. Some would suggest this proves the concept of cause and effect is flawed, but our knowledge is limited on this. Even the greatest scientists do not know everything. As our knowledge expands, facts and theories evolve. But with that in mind, just because we don't see a cause doesn't mean that there isn't one. The relationship between cause and effect in the random and inexplicable is just more complicated and less apparent than, say, a gardener that spends hours creating a garden bed, preparing the soil, planting the seedlings, watering them. We know that will have a later beautiful effect, as opposed if they just threw seeds out their window, never watered it, hoped for the best, that sort of thing. But I believe that this is really great when used as a representation of relationships. An effect that can come of love and great communication and care and gentleness and support, that can create a loving environment because we decided we were going to invest time, energy in this person, individual, child, whatever it is. The effect being that person feeling loved and honored, all of that. So I like to just have a pause before I say anything, especially if somebody, it can be family members, they like to goad each other and be fresh and do all these things. And it can be anything, but I recognize how I feel if somebody says something flippant, off guard, or judgmental to me. Therefore, I don't do that because that is a definite cause and effect that's almost immediate. It can change somebody's mood. It can change how they feel about them. So it's like that gentle pause before we speak and thinking, hey, is this kind? Is this supportive? Is this going to make somebody feel good? This is also something that I bring into play in terms of if I walk by my garbage and I've been throwing in whatever old vegetables and stuff, and I smell anything that feels like it's going to ferment or be off, I know if I don't take that garbage out now, then the morning it'll kind of have that aroma in the kitchen area. So I take it out. The effect then is I have a better smelling kitchen, things like that. So preemptive behaviors, say, washing your bedding, and just being able to dive into it at night and have it be all silky smooth and clean, that sort of thing. Knowing if you're going on a trip, you wash all your clothes, you fold them, you have them ready. That way you can pick them out and much easier. I like pre-planning when it comes to going somewhere, even if it's a little daycation away or whatever. That way you don't have the frantic morning of trying to throw in your clothes and your lotions and potions. It's like a little bit of planning can have the effect of calm the next morning or the trip you're going to take. Same thing for financial planning sometimes. And I know we're all probably guilty of it. We get these crazy impulse buys and we'll start to spend, and then something will come up that we really relish and like a lot more, yet the finances won't be available because we may have spent it on these crazy impulse buys. I love that because if we are thoughtful when making decisions and determining our direction, it has beneficial effects on our future. So just that brief pause, listen, if I spend all this now, what if I need this later in the week? So it helps us to conserve where we need it, and it helps us to, be generous with ourselves and others if we have, taken those measures to squirrel a little bit away for later, which brings us into the here and now, which I love with the cause and effect. I love the here and now This is so about, how present are we in this moment? And in the book, it talks about how the mouse is small and lives in a world that's full of predators and danger, right? Mouse has a lot of reasons to fear, yet mouse is not a worrier. He's not fearless, but he doesn't fret about the possible dire future that may eventuate, which is in my area or my yard is pretty damn dangerous with all my cats around. Almost weekly, once or twice, there's a little dormouse on my doorstep or my front thing that one of the the cats catch and leave as a gift. But mice don't lose hours of speculation, allowing anxiety to make these worst case scenarios in its mind. It gets things done. It's time to stop worrying and doubting and fearing and start doing instead and live in the moment. Savor it, enjoy it, learn from it. I have to say for myself, I do know I have a bandwidth of energy. So sometimes I start to worry about the fact that, oh my God, if I go here, if I go to, say, shops that are like an hour or 90 minutes away and I plan this, then we're going to go to lunch and then see friends. I get concerned when I do the time management in my head, because I know after like 4 or 5 hours, my energy starts to dwindle, and I usually like to have a nap. And I feel like it's such an old lady thing, but I'm like, no, after I'm awake for 5 hours, especially if I'm hustling, if I can just sleep for an hour, I get rejuvenated. So if any events are going on, I start to like anticipate me getting tired. And then I feel like I'm going to opt out of really cool, events due to the fact that I'm worried that I might get tired, which is silly. I'm like, dude, grab a blanket and go under a tree and take a nap. Like, calm yourself. It's ridiculous. But I love this. This is, saying focus on the task at hand and do what needs to be done. Live in the moment. Savor, savor, savor. That being said, it's not saying be careless enough to put yourself in the path of trouble. Mice aren't going up to cats and biting them on the nose. They really give cats a wide berth. But mice would pause for a moment to enjoy the sun on its fur. It would pause for a moment to play with its friends. Mice are spontaneous. They'll search for food and eat when they're hungry. They return to their burrow to sleep when they're tired. They clean itself when their fur is getting a little dirty. The smallest of creatures leads a simple life, but it's full of one that leaves it feeling content. And I've been able to observe this. I have every creature on God's green earth that comes in my backyard. It is hilarious, and how they all like intermingle too. The turkeys with the cats, with the mice, with the birds. And they all do give each other kind of birth, because I put food out, and sometimes they're all hungry. They want to come at once. And then like, nah, that thing's bigger than me, might possibly get me. Our groundhogs, it's hilarious. I love to watch it. But again, they all have this beautiful, content, curious nature, which I find really lovely. And I love the artwork in this so much. I feel like it's so sweet. Now, I love Heed the Vibes. I love this card. I love everything about it. And in the book, it talks about how a scorpion has poor eyesight, but that limitation doesn't prevent it from obtaining whatever it needs. It can sense its prey with the little small hairs on its, I think they're called pedipalps, those little claws. And the hairs are so sensitive to vibration that it can locate airborne prey as well with ease. So the particles that make up all forms of matter are in constant motion, and the air around you is never still. And I love when it says, when you're still, you vibrate. Your body might appear to be motionless, but everything within its motion, even your mind, your physical, your mental, your emotional state, can affect your vibrational frequency. So, when you walk into a room, have you felt the ebb and flow of energy? Like, whoa, there's a heavy air in here, or like people are laughing and they're happy if you're walking to like a wedding reception, that kind of thing, right? Or just walking into a room and meeting somebody, you feel drawn to them or repelled by them too. Many people are sensitive to other people's vibration. I am very much so. It's a whole myriad of things, but I can get a vibe and an energy almost immediately from somebody, and my body does something that is almost subconscious. Like, I will take a step forward if I feel the vibe. If I feel the vibe is like high and that person is good, I'll lean into the person to hear them better, to see and be close to a vibration. And alternatively, I will take a step backwards, and my body language, like I almost lean back from the waist down if I feel like the vibe is off, almost like I'm naturally trying to protect myself from that energy. It's bizarre, but we don't want to act on them blindly as well. We can use our sense as a reason to look deeper, to observe, to ask questions, and then to act. But really heed the vibes. Do you ever just get the, whoa, it's like your hair stands up on end when you see somebody? This could be a new boyfriend of a friend. This could be, whatever, a new boss, whatever it is. Really heed the vibes, because intuitively our body kind of knows that. And by having this too, we're able to heed the vibes even more, just being present moment and being curious about what's taking place within our body and what we're observing. So again, you guys, this is the gorgeous Seeker Oracle. I love the artwork so much. I find it so dreamy, and the backs of the cards are really gorgeous too. Tomorrow I'm going to read the Know Your Labels and some other ones because I love that. I love the backs, and tomorrow this is going to be one of the ones that we cover because I thought the book was absolutely genius about how it described the circumstances about how we label ourselves, how others may label us, and how we may label them. Just absolutely genius. I loved it. So you guys, that is what you're meant to hear today. Have a great day.